Hi, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Batliner, and welcome to another story. I don't know if many of you know this, but this week, April 23rd through the 29th, is called National Library Week. And so it is just a way to honor libraries and librarians for all the great work that they do. So if you are walking down the hallways and see your media person who checks out your books at the library, make sure that you tell them thank you. And if you see me or Mrs. Schuster, make sure you tell us thank you. It would be great to have you wave to us. So our story today is called Dewey, There's a Cat in the Library. So those of you that are older, when I say the name Dewey, does it bring anyone to memory? Yeah, Dewey is the way that we put our nonfiction books. It's called the Dewey Decimal System. So it's kind of interesting that this cat is called Dewey. Once again, here is our dedication page. Our story today is written by Vicki Myron and Brett Witter, and it is illustrated by Steve James. Take a look at that ball of yarn. Oh my gosh, he did such a great illustration on that ball of yarn. Thumb up in the air if you have a cat. Pinky up in the air if you have a kitten. Taking a look at this picture, do you think it's a cat or a kitten? I almost think it's a kitten. It looks kind of tiny there. Every night, people left books in the return box of the library in the small town of Spencer, Iowa. Funny books, big books, truck books, pig books, they left them all. But one night, on the coldest night of the year, someone left a strange surprise. A tiny kitten. When Vicki, the librarian, found him the next morning, the kitten was cold and scared and very, very dirty. Vicki took one look and decided to give him a warm bath. The kitten went into the sink brown and crying, but he came out orange and purring. I'm going to keep you, said Vicki, who already loved him. We'll name you Dewey Read More Books. You can live here and be our library cat. So remember, when he went in, he was very dirty. And after she gave him a bath, look at how orange he is. Boys and girls that have cats, I do not have a cat, but the boys and girls that do have cats, do cats like to take baths? Dewey looks like he's having a great time there, but I was always told that cats did not like water and that they would get very, very aggressive with their nails and trying to get away from the water. But he looks kind of happy there. But Dewey had no idea what it meant to be a library cat. So he did what all kittens do. He played. He lounged on the newspaper, rode the book cart, and knocked the pens to the floor. He goofed around with Marty Mouse, snooped in every open drawer, and always found at least one rubber band. Would it be fun to have a kitten in your library? I don't think you'd ever want to check out books. I think you'd want to be chasing the kitten. But what Dewey loved most of all was people. Tall ones, round ones, quiet ones, loud ones, the little ones, however surprised him, and not always in a good way. Look, Nathan, said his mommy, there's a cat in the library. Nathan bent down and said, Hi, Hooey Dewey Yooks. No, said his sister Hannah. It's Dewey. Read more books. Dewey squirmed. The boy was petting him in the wrong direction. Dewey loved to be petted, but he hated being petted in the wrong direction. Oh, so look at what he was doing. He was pushing his fur up instead of pulling it back. Dewey was licking his fur back into place when he heard a strange noise. Wah! Dewey's ears perked up. He looked around. Wah! Boys and girls, what do you know that makes a wah sound? Yeah, I think it's a baby. Maybe it could be a fire engine. Let's see. Wah! Dewey sprang to attention and crept really slowly toward the sound. Is that a fire engine? No, it's a baby. Surprise! The little people Dewey discovered came in tiny sizes too, and they loved to giggle and grab and pull and coo. Babies are wonderful, Dewey thought. Cute and smellicious too. So there's the baby. Take a look at that illustration. Does it look like a real baby? Oh my goodness, it looks exactly like a real baby. This illustrator is amazing. A few days later, Dewey went exploring and discovered in a secret room the most exciting thing he had ever seen. Children's Story Hour. Wowzer whiskers, this looks like fun, Dewey thought as he pushed into the room with his nose. Someone shouted, "There's a cat in the library!" Dewey froze. So boys and girls, imagine if a teacher or the librarian or even me was sitting reading you a story. Look at how good they're all sitting. Yeah, and then look at the one little boy. He's like, there's a cat. It was quiet for 1 minute. Then everything went wild. Do you think those boys and girls are still listening to the story? Yeah, I don't think so either. I think the person who was reading totally lost control because of that cute little kitten. And the next thing Dewey knew, he was being carried upside down. Oh my, Dewey thought, what should I do now? Ha ha ha. And there's Dewey. Do you think he likes being carried upside down? Yeah, I don't think so. Late that night, Dewey talked to his friend Marty Mouse. The library's a wonderful place, Dewey said, but I'm tired of being pulled and poked and carried upside down. I'm not just a cat in a library. I'm a library cat. A library cat helps people. I think, and I'm 92% convinced that that's the reason I'm around. Marty Mouse didn't say anything. I'm going to do it, Dewey said. I'm going to help people. And he felt so happy that he threw Marty Mouse into the air, kicked him with his back legs, then slept on him like a pillow. The next morning, when the first people arrived, Dewey was waiting to greet them right by the front door. All morning, Dewey acted like a library cat. He read with the mommies and grandmas. He helped the daddies work. He even shelved books with the library clerk. Look at how cute he is. When he saw little Nathan, he turned a circle and a half so the boy could pet his back from his head down to his tail, the right direction to pet a cat. I'm glad we're friends, Dewey Lee, Nathan said. Dewey smiled at that. By lunchtime, Dewey was worn out, so he found a good box. First, He put his front paws inside, then his belly. He squished his back end down, wiggled around until he was all the way in and closed his eyes. Look at him there. There's an orange muffin in the library, a girl giggled. Do you think he's comfortable in that scrap paper? Oh my goodness, he doesn't look comfortable at all. But I bet he could go to sleep. But just as Dewey was about to drift off into sweet kitten dreams, he heard a heavy sigh. His eyes popped open, and he saw a girl on the other side of the library. So remember how he said he wanted to help people? Let's see if he can help her. A sad little girl reading very quietly, all by herself. So boys and girls, take a look at this illustration. Does she look sad? She really, really does. I love the way how he made the lighter books in the back, and he really brought the bold colors in front. I think that's amazing. He climbed up close and stared at her. She looked the other way. He sniffed her hand. She wouldn't play. He knocked her mittens on the floor. She let them stay. She want to play with him? Nope. Then he saw her jacket, and he had the best idea yet. Silly always works. I'll be a silly cat today. The girl stared at Dewey. You look like a fuzzy hot dog in a purple bun, she said. And then she surprised him. Look what happened. She laughed right out loud. I love you, Dewey. Read more books, the girl whispered, as Dewey nestled into her lap and began to purr. This is it, Dewey thought. I'm a real library cat, and it feels great. No, it felt better than great. It felt perfect. That last word, perfect. Do you remember what that's called? Yeah, it's called onomatopoeia, remember? It's taking the sound that the word makes. So I can really hear the purring in that word. What a great story. So I love the fact that if you look at the bottom of this page, so this story that the picture book story about Dewey Read More Books is really inspired by an adult book. So the author of this picture book took this other book, which was an adult book, and kind of took the ideas from that book and made a whole new book. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope at some point that you're able to visit your school library in the next few weeks, or if you're able to go visit the Hammond Library and see if you can check out books from there. All right, I will see you the next time. Thanks for listening.